Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Vinyl Den, your channel for record collecting by record collectors. I'm Nick. Today I'm checking out this new copy of The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd. There's a bunch of links down below for you to check out. There's links for the Vinyl Den Facebook group, for the merch page, for the Spotify and Apple Music playlist I put together a week, and the Patreon page. Make sure you check all that out. Like always, if you enjoy the episode, make sure you give me the old thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified every time I release new episodes. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you know I'm a huge fan of Pink Floyd. You know, The Dark Side of the Moon is easily my favorite album of all time. I get a lot of grief for how many copies of the album I have. I think I've got 10 or 11 copies of it. So when they announced this new pressing, you know, the first question I had was, you know, do they really need to repress this album, and do I really need another copy of it? I don't know why I have so many copies of the album. And, you know, I think it really all kind of started with, I wanted to have an original pressing of it. And the first time I bought it on vinyl was the 2016 reissue when it came out, which the 2016 version sounds fantastic. The original pressing I have sounds really good also. And then, I don't know, like over the next couple of years, like I picked up the 1979 Mo-Fi version of it. I picked up a couple of copies of the 30th anniversary release, a copy of the 40th anniversary release also. So when they announced the 50th anniversary box set, of course I had to pick up a copy of that last year. And really ever since then, when that box set came out, I even said, you know, comparing all those different versions of The Dark Side of the Moon, I still preferred the 30th anniversary cut of the album. But, you know, if you want a 30th anniversary pressing of that album, it's going to cost you, typically runs, you know, well over $100. And that's why I thought as good as that 50th anniversary copy sounded, it sounded pretty similar to the 2016. But if you were going to get a copy of the album, if you didn't have a copy of it, I really felt like the 50th anniversary pressing of it, you know, once it got released on its own, was going to be pretty much the standard version that everyone should have. Unless you're someone like me, and then you got to have a bunch of different copies of it. And then, you know, like I said, I still love the 30th anniversary pressing. I still think it's the best sounding version. But the 50th anniversary, you know, sound-wise is really, really close to the 30th anniversary pressing, in my opinion. That's been absolutely pressed to death over the years. I mean, there's hundreds of different copies of this album that are available. You know, and is there a huge difference between one version to another? You know, in some instances there are, but I feel like a lot of times there really isn't. And just like pretty much everything else that Pink Floyd has released over the years, as soon as it gets announced, I absolutely have to put a pre-order in for it. So this new copy, so what makes this version, I guess if I hold it the right way, what makes this version different than any of the other ones that they've done before is the fact that it's on 2 LPs, and they did something a little different with the album itself. I will say this is not the original packaging that this album came in. I was able to pull the hype sticker off the original shrink wrap and put it on one of these nice resealable sleeves. I will say that the jacket is a little bit bigger. It didn't fit in one of my 12-inch sleeves. I had to actually use a 12 3/4 sleeve for this album. So the hype sticker says 50th Anniversary Collector's Edition, UV printed art on clear vinyl. That's what makes this version different from anything else that they've released for this album. There's the hype sticker there. You know, and the album artwork is a little bit different. It does come in this really nice, you know, slipcase with the Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon artwork, different artwork on the front of it. So now that I've got it out of the resealable sleeve, you can see the artwork a little bit better on there. It just says The Dark Side of the Moon. And then it does the back of the artwork is a little bit different also than the normal release. Like I said, this is just a slip cover on the album here. The slip cover fits really tightly on the album, which I like too, because when you're moving the album around, it doesn't like slip and fall out of the bottom. So once you take the slip cover off, it's just the standard album artwork, and then it's just the standard inside of the jacket also. So musically, this is the exact same release as the 50th anniversary release from last year. The jacket is a little bit different though. This is more, this jacket actually kind of feels kind of cheap once you get the slipcover off of it compared to the release from last year. The release last year, you know, the jacket felt a little heavier. It was a nice soft touch jacket, where this is kind of just a plain Jane kind of jacket once you get that slipcover off of it. So what makes this version different than all the other versions is the album itself, is the actual music. They've never released it as a 2 LP release before, and I kind of like the way they did this one. It's almost like a picture disc. It's kind of having a picture disc while still maintaining a really high sound quality on there. I'll pull the first album out here. So the music is on one side. Okay. So the music is on one side. It's on clear vinyl, and then the back side of it, as you can see through the playable side, the second side is non-playable and has the UV graphics on there. The only thing I can say about this, the only kind of like negative thing I can say, is the prisms are like this bluish color, where I think they should have been a darker blue or almost like a black, like the album cover. I guess I should show you on the back side. The label on the back side is different also. So it's just the prism on the front side, and then it's got the pyramids on the back side of disc 1. And I really like the graphic that they used for disc 2. It's the same, like the heartbeat kind of thing. The image through that's in the gatefold on the jacket is on the non-playable side, and you got that same prism that's on disc 1 is the label, and then the back side of it is a different picture of the pyramid. So that's kind of cool, and that's what makes this one different than everything else that they've done. Does it really justify the price? You know, that I think is something that I don't know, I kind of go back and forth on, because this was not cheap. I want to say it was like $50 if you go pick it up on Amazon. I think it was like $55 on Pink Floyd's website. So it's not cheap, especially when you consider it's, you know, $15 to $20 more than the 50th anniversary pressing if you want to pick up that copy. But as a huge fan of this album, I mean, I absolutely love the way this looks. I'm actually considering, I mean, I've got, like I said, 10 or 11 copies of it. I'm actually considering just framing this copy, because I think the artwork on the album, it looks really cool. I do have a picture disc of the Dark Side of the Moon that I've got framed, but I think this will probably look even better. So the first question, once I posted this, after I bought it, I put the pictures on Instagram, put it up in the Vinyl Den Facebook group. One of the first questions I got was, how does this sound? When comparing this to the 50th anniversary pressing, there is no difference. It sounds exactly the same. They used all the same plates. It is the exact same pressing, except for that's on 1 LP and this one's on 2. And this one had, like I said, because of the clear vinyl with the UV graphics, it has that different look. But sound-wise, it sounds exactly the same to me. I know a lot of people love to give Pink Floyd a lot of crap, and I do also. I say it all the time that a lot of the stuff they do, especially around the Dark Side of the Moon, often feels like a cash grab. And, you know, that's what this is. I mean, like I said, this album's been pressed to death. It's really easy to get a copy of it for a lot less than what you're paying for this. And yeah, maybe the clear vinyl with the UV graphics might be kind of gimmicky, but I think it's really cool. I'd love to see, you know, bands release more stuff like this. Maybe not to Pink Floyd, because like I said, they've got that reputation as doing things as a cash grab. But, you know, if you know, I'd rather see a band release an album like this than doing a picture disc that you know, is going to sound, you know, picture disc can sound good. I think they're a lot more hit or miss than a standard release. And that's why I said this is kind of a way of kind of doing a hybrid release, where it's kind of a picture disc and, you know, still kind of retaining the really good sound quality of a standard release. But at the end of the day, like I said, I absolutely love this album. It sounds great. It's a really cool looking pressing of it. You know, that's kind of one of the things that I love about vinyl records. Is not just listening to the music. It's an entire experience. It's the artwork. It's the way the album looks. It's the whole thing. And this kind of a, you know, doing an album this way kind of adds a little something different that you typically don't get with a lot of other releases. I know if you go on Pink Floyd's website, this is already sold out. It's already sold out at a lot of other locations also. I have seen, when I was at the record store for Record Store Day, one of my local record stores did have, I think, 2 or 3 copies of it still in stock. But I think slowly this is going to be something that's kind of hard to grab, just because how different it is from other releases. But, you know, it's one I love, and I'm glad I have it in my collection. I just wish I knew, you know, I wish Pink Floyd would say how many copies of this they actually pressed. Well, that's all I got for today, guys. Thanks for checking the show out. Make sure you drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think of this pressing of the Dark Side of the Moon. Like I said, I know it's been pressed to death over the years, but this is something a little bit different. It's not like they're just repressing the exact same thing over and over again. It's nice to see them try to do something a little bit different with this release. But let me know what you guys are interested in grabbing a copy of it, or if you have picked up a copy of it. Like always, if you enjoyed the episode, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button down below. That's all I got. Until next time, keep on spinning. Peace.